welcome back to Hannah's Wonder Books. Today we're going to be reading What a Mess by Jacquelyn Reinach. This is another Sweet Pickles book. In this book we learn about Goof Off Goose, who puts everything for tomorrow when she really should be doing it today. Everyone in Sweet Pickles Town is getting ready for spring cleanup, but Goose says, "I'll clean this up tomorrow," and then it snows. Let's read What a Mess. What a Mess by Jacquelyn Reinach. What a mess. Winter was coming. All the leaves were off the trees, and the wind was getting chilly. Everyone in town of Sweet Pickles was busy getting ready for the first snow, except for Goose. Responsible Rabbit was raking his leaves. Loving Lion was staking her rose trees for the winter. Enormous Elephant was stacking her picnic furniture in the garage. Zany Zebra was packing his bottles and tying his newspapers. Goose was lying in her hammock, trying to take her morning nap. The neighborhood noises kept her awake. "Hey!" cried Goose. "All this raking and staking and stacking and packing is spoiling my morning nap." "Your yard is spoiling our neighborhood," cried Smarty Stork. He was coming by with the morning mail. Stork was down his mail porch and sniffed in disgust. "What a mess," he said. "In my time, I have seen a lot of junk and skunky gunk. I have seen soggy garbage bags and filthy old oil rags. I have seen rubbish and trash and broken glass. I've smelled sour milk and rotten tomatoes, moldy old cheese and wrinkled potatoes, but I've never seen a mess like this." "What mess?" yawned Goose. She sat up and stretched and looked around. Goose's front yard was littered with empty ice cream cartons, old newspapers, cans, bottles, paper cups, a rubber tire, and lots of other junk. "Oh," said Goose, "I guess my yard could use a little fall cleanup, Stork. I'll do it first thing tomorrow. Tomorrow you won't see any junk in my yard, I promise." "Promises, promises," groaned Stork. He flew off. Goose snugged down and closed her eyes. Just then there was a loud honking from a truck. It was Outrageous Octopus collecting bundles for recycling. "Hush," said Goose. "Stop that awful honking. I'm trying to sleep." "Look who's talking about awful," screamed Octopus. "Look at your yard. That's awful. What a mess." "Please don't yell," said Goose. "I have the right to yell," yelled Octopus. "Yesterday you said you would clean up your yard. You said you would bundle your newspapers and sort out the cans and bottles and have everything ready for pickup. Well, I couldn't find any boxes to pack the stuff in," said Goose. Octopus tossed some empty boxes off her truck. "Here," she shouted, "take these and fill them up. Now you have no excuses, Goose." Octopus drove off. "Okay," called Goose. "Tomorrow you won't see any junk in my yard, I promise." Goose looked around. "I guess I'll get started tomorrow," she sighed. "If only I knew what to do first." "If I were you, Goose," called Rabbit from next door, "I would make a careful list of everything I had to do." "Yes," said Goose, and then, shouted Rabbit, "do it!" "Oh," said Goose, "that's a good idea. I'll make a list of everything I'm going to do tomorrow, as soon as I find a pencil." "Tomorrow you won't see any junk in my yard," promised Goose. Then she went into the house. That evening, Goose sat down to make her list. The first thing she wrote down is, "Clean up the mess." Then she got tired and fell asleep. During the night, it got colder and colder. The wind howled and it began to snow. It snowed harder and harder. It snowed on the ice cream cartons. It snowed on the newspapers. It snowed on the cans and the bottles of paper cups. Snow covered all the junk in Goose's yard. When Goose woke up the next morning, she looked at her list. Oh, she yawned. Today is the day I should clean up the yard. I promised the junk would be gone. Then Goose looked out the window. Well, what do you know? Snow, she smiled. She stuck her head out to have a better look. A thick blanket of white snow covered her entire front yard. Everything looked clean and sparkling in the sunlight. Imagine that, said Goose, with a little twinkle in her eye. You can't see any junk in my yard. The snow has kept my promise. Goose closed her window gently and went back to bed. The end. I hope you enjoyed reading What a Mess by Jacquelyn Reinach. In this book, we learned that we need to do things today, and we can't just put everything off until tomorrow. I'll see you next time on What a Mess. Bye, friends!